Bixby, and I'm standing with Walter Gunn. Now, Walter is the guy who is the vice president of the Friends of Irving Foundation, which is the park we're standing in, the Washington Irving Park. What we'll show you in a second is the actual memorial itself. But first of all, Walter, tell me how just the talks of having this here came about. This is pretty remarkable.
Well, the gentleman that started this was Bill Pittman, and this got started because we also have a memorial for the children of the Merle building over here, and when this happened, he got to thinking, well, let's do this memorial. And he called the office of Kathy Keating at the time, and they made arrangements, and we were told where to call, and Bill got a committee together to put this together, organize it. And then he called wherever, and this went on for 6, 7, 8 months. And then finally we got a call from New York City, or the site, and said, we have your I-beam, but you have to pick it up this Friday. And so the people we had to do the trucking were unavailable at the time, but Milton Trucking, he was able to get a hold of the president of Milton Trucking, and he said he had a truck coming deadheading back to Tulsa, and said, I'd be happy to pick it up. So he picked it up and even delivered it right here to the park for us and didn't charge us a penny. In fact, the amazing part of this is we collected over $10,000 for this project. It cost $15,000. Total cash that was put in was $2,000 something, a little over $2,000. So there was a lot of donations, in-kind labor, and all of that. So it was one of the best projects we've ever done here as far as cost and as far as support from the community.
So tell us a little bit about how did they decide what you were going to get as far as like an I-beam? Was that something you guys had thought about, or did they just tell you that's what they had?
We thought we were getting a little piece. We got what they had. And we were number 9 on the list. Supposedly this has the number 9 on it, which indicates that we're the 9th request that they supported.
And there's also numbers in there telling you where this thing was in the tower and that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
How much do you know about the background there?
That, we haven't researched it. Some other people have, but we haven't gotten into it. But I know the numbers are on the I-beam, and it tells the exact location. And if you have the, I guess you can go on the internet and find the architectural paperwork and find where this was. But we haven't done that. That's a project that some other people have looked into, but nobody's gotten back with us.
All right, you've got the 10th anniversary. I hate to call it an anniversary, but the 10-year mark coming up. What do you guys have planned for that?
As of right now, we haven't set anything up. It's been kind of... we just had a rededication, probably because 2 years ago we got the timeline plaques put up, and then we had a rededication then, and because and we just haven't done anything for this year on it, and I don't think that we will be doing anything major like we did before when you all were down here, and our rededication and all of that.
But you, obviously, with the 10-year mark, you're going to be visited an awful lot more and that kind of thing. And do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. And the park and the park departments, and we'll be down here to make sure that things are cleaned up and look better. The summer, as you know, has kind of decimated your landscaping and stuff. So we have some plants to replace around the
base and all that.
Yeah, the base and all that. So that's about all we have, because we did have a rededication 2 years ago.
You have to think, though, I mean, as you drive by this, as you see this, as people talk to you about this, that it's really pretty unique and cool that Bixby has this piece that brings this home.
Absolutely. This is one of the ironies of all of that. I don't think you'll find another place in the state of Oklahoma that will have a Merle building monument with a piece of the building, twin towers, in one location. 2 of the biggest disasters, terrorist attacks in the country, and we've got them both.
What does this one mean to you when you look at it, Bill? Or Walter, sorry.
No problem. It just evokes a ton of emotions. I am a retired military, and I spent 20 plus years serving in the military to keep freedoms and keep stuff like this off. So it angers me in some senses, makes me sad for all the lives that were lost, and it just, but this now, and we set it up so it'll keep the memory and people won't forget. This is something that you just cannot forget and should not forget.
Let's walk around it a little bit, because one of the things that, I mean, you guys, you talked about the plaques, and you do have the beginning plaque here, but then also over here, you got the beginning of the timeline.
Absolutely.
Whose idea was it to start doing these?
Mine.
What gave you that idea?
Well, we talked about it in the meetings, and nobody could really come up with what we wanted to do, and finally I was given the honor of, well, what can you do? And so I went out and I procured we had the stands already made, and we had the plaques. We just didn't know exactly how we were going to do it. We were talking about pictures, we were talking about words, we were talking about all sorts of things. So I finally came up with an idea and presented it to the board. It was approved, and I went to the people that do the etching stone here, that did the etchings and everything, and we approved what I wrote down, and then it was here.
When you see this thing, and I know the first time I saw it, not only is it, it's a giant I-beam, but the way it's twisted, and then the way the protruding parts are twisted, the concrete's still left there. Does it bring you closer to that day?
It just, what's interesting, and when this day happened, all I remember is I was in Nova Scotia, Canada. I couldn't get back in the United States. And I was at a place to where all the planes were diverted to, coming back to the States. There were a lot of people that were, especially airline stewardess. I'm an RVer, and they asked me, can we get in your RV to get back to the States? So it brings back those memories, and the people that stopped in Canada and said, oh, you're from America, we're so sorry that this happened. So yes, I see this, and it brings back those types of memories, the sorrow, the comfort that other people were trying to give us, and all of that. And where I wasn't even in America, and my son was calling us, trying to get a hold of us, and we pulled off the road and got the TV up and started watching all of this, and so we saw more than I needed to see. That's about all I can say.
Where do you think this will go from here? I mean, it's pretty much a standalone monument, but you guys have added things to it. Are there future plans?
Right now, there's no future plans. This is it. We've completed. If anything's done, we're still debating that, is whether we're going to put the final thing that Bin Laden was eliminated.
Gotcha.
You can call that the ending. Mm-hmm.
Closure.
The closure. And that's the only thing, and we're trying to figure out how to do that without glorifying the individual that did it. So.
What about when the new Freedom Tower is up? Would there be a place for that?
I don't know. That's something that we'll look at whenever that gets there. But as of right now, this is it.
Let's walk around here. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if we could find out those numbers, wouldn't it be, to find out exactly where those went. How did you pick the quotes that you used on here?
Well, we had the book, I think Time Life, or one of those folks put out on this, and these quotes were in there. Newspaper articles, whatever published information we could find is where I got this.
Okay. One of the things I thought was interesting as we walk around here was you got around to this other side and you see all the people who had helped sponsor you, and you guys talked about not having to use a whole lot of that money, but man, this is a who's who of Bixby and others, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This is a big community from AEP, Public Service Company of Oklahoma, and there's Quick Trip, has also donated.
Conrad Farms from here?
Yes, Conrad Farms, where your Eugene and Helen Conrad from Conrad Farms, both the business and they contributed. Etched in stone right here, the guy that did the stone work. So just
group of good people.
Yes, it was just a good group of people that got together and did this.
And you know, when my family and I got to this one, this last etching here, then it says South Tower collapses at 9:50. I mean, I don't care how many times I see or read that, it makes me stop. Did it do that for you?
When I read this stuff and go around it, it just, okay, and there's others. There's two more after this one, and it just, you say, terrible, terrible.
And one of those is right around here at the end, and it's another one of the quotes that you guys found, and this one is from President Bush, who's right now in the Nat Geo, and it's another one that makes you proud that you were able to drive back into this country and be a part of this, right?
Yes, this especially means a lot to me because, like I said, being a retired military, this is what we're out there for. We go and take care of this kind of business, and it's good to see that the president was so positive and stood firm on this and didn't waver.
And by the way, did you watch any of the interviews last night? They had him on Nat Geo, and they talked a little bit about what had actually happened. Did you see some of that?
I haven't been able to see it, but I have taped it, and I will be looking at it short one of these days this week. So that's on my agenda.
It's pretty cool that you guys did this here. There's no doubt.
And then, of course, there's the North Tower goes down at 10:28 a.m. and that's what it just collapses. That's it.
And it's all over.
It's all over.
I've seen that there's some flowers out there. Do people bring memorials and such, and do you encourage that?
We have all sorts of things that are brought out here, and as it gets closer to 9/11, of course they increase. And a lot of the stuff, when we remove it, we give it to our historical society. And so we have a large batch, just like our children's memorial with Merle Building. We have kids that brought out tons of things for that, and we keep all of that and give it to our historical society for both.
All right, for those who don't know how to get here, explain to them how to get here and see this.
It's real easy. You get on Memorial, you come all the way south past 131st Street, and before the bridge over the Arkansas going into Bixby proper is a big sign that says Washington Irving Memorial Park and Arboretum. And if you're going south, you turn left or right onto the service road and around to the parking lot, and you can't miss it because it's very visible from the highway. And just walk down here and take a look.
So that's a little bit of what's happening here in Bixby, and I hope you have an opportunity to come see this before or even after 9/11. It's certainly worthwhile.